write you a song to make you fall in love. I would already have you up under my arm. I used to follow my tricks. I hope that you like this, but you probably won't. You think you're cooler than me. You got designer shades just to hide your face, and you wear them around like you're cooler than me. And you never say, hey, yo, remember my...
Sorry, gang. Let's see. Here we go. All right. All right, gang. We're just trying to get everything set up. I see everybody starting to join. This is Darryl Davis. It's 11 o'clock. Let's just make sure we got all of our... We have way too much stuff set up here. Facebook, and we're going live on Facebook in case anybody's going to be joining us there. All right. So let's see. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for calling in this morning. And let's just go over a couple of things. First of all, we still have people calling in. I just want to make sure that we're recording this, so just give me a second, gang. And we've got that. We've got this, and we record. All right. Good. All right. So, all right. Super duper. All right. Good morning. Good morning again. So, gang, I just want to welcome everybody. But before we officially get started, if there's anybody from Florida on the call, or the Houston area, or even the outer states of Florida, because a lot of people have been getting, other states have been getting bombarded with people. Anyway, our thoughts and prayers are with you, and I hope everybody's doing well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody, and so that way we can get a good recording on this call. Any of you that want to ask me a question, the best way to do that is, let's see, can you hang on one second? Somebody said they can't hear me. So let's just make sure that we are doing this okay. So everybody give me 1 second. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good. So that's just a local. Good. Thank you very much. All right, good. So it must be just a local thing. Somebody can't hear me. All right. If you guys want to interrupt me, ask me questions, just hit *6, and that will take you off mute, and so we'll be good to go. All right. We are, there's a lot of different ways to participate in this call. You can either just call in on the telephone number. You can do it online. You can go to Facebook Live, although Facebook Live is not working right now. But the purpose of this call is to go over a few things. First of all, for you to get some one-on-one coaching. This is your opportunity to ask me any questions, cover anything that you might need help with. The best way to do that is to email us in advance, but I'm going to open up the call in just a minute to do that. The second thing is to go over the magazine. Every month we have a digital magazine that we put up. Now, those of you that are following along on the computer screen with me, you should see right now the actual magazine. And each month we interview somebody. Now, this month we interviewed Julie Keith. Julie Keith is not a real estate agent. This is just somebody I got really inspired that I wanted to share with you her story, because she's got this incredible disability disease that she's been struggling with for years. She is so great in her attitude and how positive she is, and I wanted to kind of capture some of that positivity into a bottle and share it with you guys. So it's an incredible interview. I highly recommend that you listen to it. So we posted the interview on the Power Program website, so make sure that you listen to that. Also, this month's magazine has a tremendous amount of great stuff in it, and I'm going to go over some of that with you right now. Actually, before I get into the magazine, I want to open up the call right now, because I want to make sure you guys get the value that you need. So you might be stressing about something in your business. It could be your listings, your income, your focus. So right now, I want you to think about what is it that you're struggling with that you need some one-on-one coaching on. And I would like you to hit *6 to open up the call for you to ask me a question. I promise you, here's one thing I can tell you, is that sometimes people are like, Darryl, I don't know if people would appreciate my story or the challenge that I'm having. I'm embarrassed to even ask because I think I'm the only person that might have this issue. Let me tell you something. You'll be surprised that you are not the only one that has whatever issue that you're dealing with. There's so many people on this call that could probably appreciate or relate to whatever challenge you're having right now. Plus, I'll make sure that I take that question and embellish on it so everybody on the call is going to get value. So let's open up the call right now. Who has a question, something that you want to get help with? And here, I just want to remind you, for people calling in late, how you take yourself off mute is hit *6 one time on your keypad, and that will take you off mute. *6. So who do I got?
Darryl, my name is Tracy. I am an agent in Virginia, Northern Virginia.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. The problem I'm seeing is I'm using RedX to try and target FSBOs and expireds, but they're being so incredibly bombarded that they're just feeling overwhelmed because they're having so many agent calls that I feel like I'm having a really hard time breaking through.
Okay. I'm sorry. Now, what's your name again?
Tracy.
Tracy. All right. So, Tracy, let's do this. Let's kind of role play that. Like, I'll give you the easy part. You be the homeowner.
Okay.
And I'll call you. So if you'll give me 1 second, Tracy, because I'm going to try and get this, capture this moment on Facebook one more time, because we were just having an issue with that. And if you give me 1 second while I try one more time to get that rocking and rolling. All right. So, Tracy, you be the homeowner. I'm going to call you.
Okay.
And you throw at me the challenges or the objections you've been getting, and let me see if I can help you get through it, okay? So, sure. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, yes, may I speak with Tracy, please?
This is.
Tracy, hi, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine.
Okay. Tracy, the reason why I called is I noticed your house had expired off the multiple listing service, and I was wondering, is the house still for sale?
It is, and if you've got a buyer, I'd be happy for you to bring them by, but for now, we're just taking it off the market until spring.
Okay. Okay, so, all right. So if I have a buyer, though, you'd still show it to them?
Yeah, but I just don't want to deal with it during the fall right now and during the winter, and, I mean, you're probably the 20th agent I've had call me this week.
Really? Well, you know, Tracy, I'm looking at a copy of the listing. I'm a little surprised, actually, that it hasn't sold yet. Do you know why that is?
I don't know. I think it's just because it's kind of a niche property, and I mean, it's just going to take a specific buyer, and we just didn't find the right buyer.
Okay. Yeah, because from the surface, it looks pretty good. How can I ask you, Tracy, where are you folks moving to? You're staying in the area or going out of area?
Well, I don't really have to move. I was kind of thinking about just going out a little bit further west so I can not have as much of a populated area, and the property taxes here have just gotten to be way too high.
I see. So there's I understand. So there's no urgency for you. You haven't purchased something already in that marketplace? No,
I've just been looking a little bit.
I see. All right. Well, I guess that's good that your back is not up against the wall. And would you be offended? What I like to do is to take a look at it to see, as you know, there's just so much the MLS can show me. So I'd like to stop by and take a look on the inside real quick and see how it shows. Can I come over at 6 or would 7 be better?
I'm really just not interested in selling it right now. I really am just going to wait until spring.
I see. Okay, good. Now, Tracy, let me just stop the role play here for a second, because right out the gate, the type of seller you sound like is you're really not committed to selling.
Right. I had a FSBO the other day that those were the answers she gave me.
Yeah. So here's something I can tell you. If you have, now was it a FSBO or was it an expired?
That one was a FSBO.
Okay. With FSBOs, you want to be a little bit more careful. Okay. So with a FSBO, they may be kind of lying to you or not giving you accurate information because they're afraid if you tell them the truth, they tell you the truth. Like, for example, if they were, if they're going through a divorce and they got to get this property sold in the next 30 days, that they're telling you that they're willing to come down in price. So in other words, they won't give you all the facts because they don't want to put themselves in a bad negotiating position. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. She had her house on the market 2 years ago, and then her agent passed away, and then she took it off for 2 years, and now she's trying to sell it on her own, and she's being pretty insistent about it, but saying that she has had probably 20 agents call her in the last 2 weeks, and on top of investors.
All right. So first of all, when you're talking to a FSBO, they may not always give you the accurate, honest information. That's number one. Number two is but because you told me that this was an expired call, because that's the challenge that you were having with expireds, that's a totally different animal. And right out the gate, you know, because you've had it on MLS as a homeowner, it's had showings, and when you call me, when I call you and you say, you know, if you have a buyer, you can bring them, but we really don't want to sell it during the fall season. We're going to wait till later. I mean, you're basically telling me you're not committed, and the reason why the house probably expired and didn't sell is because it was overpriced, because it's a niche house. Do you follow everything that I'm saying there?
I do, and I kind of combined my FSBO and expireds together. The expireds are telling me that they're just going to wait until spring. I mean, I've stopped actually calling a lot of them and done personal visits to them.
Let's do this, Tracy. And by the way, everybody that's listening to this call, I just want you to remind you we are recording this call. So what we'll do is we're going to post this role play that Tracy and I are doing right now for this dialogue, so you guys can listen to it and pull apart the script. Same thing for you, Tracy. So you'll be able to listen to this later on. Okay?
Thank you.
But let's do it again. But this time, Tracy, I want you to be an expired that is committed to selling.
Okay.
You know, but they're telling you they want to wait till spring. So let's do it one more time. Don't merge a FSBO and an expired together.
Okay.
All right. So, and just so everybody knows, Tracy, you too, is that if you were a FSBO, the call would have started differently too. I would have said, "Hi, I'm calling about the house for sale. Is it still available? Hi, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty." But because you're an expired and I have your contact name, I'm going to approach it differently. So let's do it again.
Okay.
All right, so ring.
Hello.
Yes, hi. May I speak with Tracy, please?
This is.
Hi, Tracy. This is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. You're like the 20th call I've gotten this week. How are you?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm sure that can be a little frustrating. But thank you. Even in the face of that, you being nice to ask me how I'm doing. I'm doing great, man. You know, the reason why I called is I noticed the house expired off the multiple listing. I was wondering, is the house still for sale?
No, we actually took it off the market until spring.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, I'm looking at a copy of the listing. I'm a little surprised the house didn't sell. Why do you think that is, ma'am?
I think there might be a lot of reasons. I think it's just kind of a niche house. You know, we're on the river, and I don't think we're overpriced. My agent didn't think we were overpriced, but I don't really know. I mean, we have a beautiful place. Yeah,
well, it looks beautiful from just what I can see. Now, you said you're taking it off until spring. What's your thinking there? What changed?
We just weren't having very many showings toward the end at all, and I just thought it would get worse as time went on. And then my agent actually is the one who suggested that we just wait until spring.
Really?
When more buyers come out. Yes.
Well, I guess there's two schools of thought about that. Yes, there are probably fewer buyers, but I don't have to tell you, Tracy, that any buyer that's going to come out during Thanksgiving, Christmas, the cold, etc., you know, those people are usually more committed. And in some cases, we actually, in my office anyway, we actually see property values sell for a little bit more because the quality of the buyers are better and they're more committed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I suppose if you are looking during Thanksgiving, you must be pretty serious.
Exactly. So when somebody is serious, that means they're committed. When people are committed, they'll spend more money because they're committed to buying a home, not stealing a home. So I always tell my clients, the holidays, a house shows better. There's fewer activity, but better buyers, better pricing. And plus, most homeowners, they wait to put their house up, after the holidays. So now you have a glut of houses. So now you have more competition. So there's a lot of positives to actually still selling now, but only if you're committed to selling. Let me ask you, where are you thinking of moving to?
Well, our kids have grown up, and we were just thinking about downsizing.
Okay, all right. So this is more of a thought, not a commitment?
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely want to, but it's not necessarily a rush that we do it. Because I just really don't want to decrease my price. I mean, I know everything has a price where it will sell, and I don't want to walk away leaving a bunch of money on the table either.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, especially, is this going? I don't mean to pry, Tracy, but just so I can help you. Do you think this is because when you said downsizing, sometimes that says to me that this might be the last house that you're going to, live in your lifetime. Is that kind of the plan?
No, I just want something that just doesn't have all the upkeep from the exterior, because we're on the river and we have a couple of acres, and it's just a lot of work to keep it up.
I got you. Well, here's what I like to do, Trace. I mean, it sounds like, that you are committed to making the sale. You just don't want to give the house away or lose money in the process. If you knew that you'd actually put more money in your pocket by selling now versus waiting until the spring, would you consider putting your house back on the market then?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If I knew that.
Yeah, well, it's very possible that might be the case. I don't want to lie and say it's definitely. What I like to do is find the time when I can come over and take a look at the house and meet the mister, if there is one, and see actually the inside, get a feel for it. And then if I think that that's the case, I'll let you know right away, or I'll just affirm what your other agent said. So can I come over tonight, or does tomorrow work better for you?
I
you got
don't
nothing
know.
to lose,
I don't
Tracy.
think.
You got nothing to lose. It's good for you to get a second set of eyes on this. And again, in my opinion, this is a better time for somebody to sell because of all the reasons why I said. The property looks better during the holidays. The quality of the buyer is better. In my office, I find the sales price is actually higher than when there's more houses up for sale and there's more competition. So there's a lot of positives. I don't want you to kill off a possibility or an opportunity here. If anything, I'm going to be wasting my time if it doesn't work out. So, but I think there might be a possibility. Otherwise, I wouldn't suggest it. So I think it's in your best interest.
Well, my agent told me that if the house stays on the market a long time, though, then it starts to look stale.
Well, that's true if you stay with the same agent. Yeah, that's true if you stay with the same agent. What some homeowners do when they find a new set of eyes, they work with a new agent, they have new marketing, different approach, and there's ways to have a listing come out and look different. I mean, there's a lot to this, which, we can discuss when I see you. But, again, I think we're kind of rushing ahead. I'm not saying that we should put the house on the market right now. I'm suggesting let's just get another set of eyes on it. Let me see what you have and see if it even makes sense. And if it does, then we can talk about the distinction between what I do versus what the other agent did. But right now I just want to see if it makes sense to even talk about it.
Okay, I guess there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's in your best interest to do it. So, all right, so does tomorrow work better or tonight? Okay, so anyway, so Tracy, we'll stop the call here. So. Okay. First of all, what did you notice that I did that might have been different than what you were doing?
Well, the first thing is I'm having a hard time reaching them on the phone, so I've actually started literally driving to a lot of these expireds and FSBOs because I thought it's just really hard for me to get them to answer the phone and to break through the noise.
Yeah.
And I mean, the ones that I did meet with face-to-face and talk to, they just remained firm. And I guess I didn't probe enough and push enough, even though I did say it's 1 hour of your time. You know, if we could help you move and get you the money that you needed to make the move, don't you think it would be worth 1 hour of your time? And I even offered to go pick up pizza so that I wouldn't interrupt their dinner, and they still said no.
All right. Well, listen. There's Tracy. There's several things I'm going to say to help you and help everybody else. Number one is you're not going to get all the appointments. So you're going to get what you're going to get, and you're not going to get what you don't get. So what you need to focus on is not getting the appointment, but the fact that you're pushing yourself to not give in easily when they try and blow you off the phone. Okay? So if you're doing all the things that you said, offer to buy him pizza, and you've got nothing to lose, like if you're doing as much as I did with you on the phone, then that's all you can do, and you should be proud of that. That's number one. Number two is you can't make somebody meet with you if they're not committed to selling. So the more committed somebody is to selling, the easier it is for you to get the appointment. I got to say that again because some of you struggle, you anguish, you try and you work so hard maybe to try and get that appointment, and when you don't get it, you feel like you failed. But the truth is, it might have been that you were more committed to the appointment than the homeowner was to selling. So you can't make somebody be more committed. Is that making sense here, what I'm saying, Tracy?
Yes.
You know, some people, just because they were on MLS and they expired doesn't mean they were committed. You know, they may have said, you know what, let's feel the market out. Let's try it. And so they listed with an agent who will take it at any price. And if they're not in a hurry, if we don't get our price, we're not selling. Listen, those are the worst types of listings because those are the listings that you're going to spend money, time, and energy to try and sell it when it's never going to happen, and the homeowner's never going to come down in price because they're committed to price, not committed to selling. You know, now you're losing money. You're losing time. So the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to open up the call to the next question, is as long as, Tracy, you are pushing yourself, improving your skill and your ability. Here's how I looked at every call. Whenever I made phone calls to FSBOs and expireds, I made the focus more about not getting the appointment, but more about improving my skill on how to ask questions and overcome my own fear of making the call. And that's important you understand that.
Okay.
That every call you make, as long as you became better, stronger, more improved, then that was a good call. And that's all you can ask for. Okay? Did this help you, Tracy?
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for calling in.
How do I unmute myself?
Yeah, you're going to hit
how do I mute myself?
Oh, you're going to hit *6 again, and that's going to put you back on mute. All right?
Okay. Thanks. You.
You're welcome, Tracy. Thank you. All right, who's next? Who has a question you want me to help you with? Hit *6 to take yourself off the mute, and then I'll be able to hear you. Hi, who's this?
This is Olga Diana with Keller Williams in Northern Virginia. Hi, Tracy, as well.
Hi, Olga. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so very much. I actually had the same experience as Tracy. Very difficult to get people on the phone, almost impossible regardless of what time of the day I'm calling. And the majority of the people I am running onto are not as committed. And I probably would like to get a little bit more knowledge of what would be suggestion on gauging people if they're not committed today. Would you explain what am I looking for, what questions I'm asking, when do I need to knock on that door again?
No, that's a great question, Olga. And Olga, before we do, I do want to say something that I'm going to do, because I saw some people call in while we were on the call, so they called in late, and I can tell from the area code that they were Houston and some Florida people. I just want to say once again to all you folks that got hit with the hurricane, our prayers and thoughts are with you, and I think it's incredible you're on this call. So that's it. I just want to acknowledge those folks. All right, Olga. So
yes.
The question, so your question is what kind of questions are there to gauge as to how committed somebody is, which is an awesome question, Olga. because this would apply whether you're face-to-face, door knocking, or calling them. And that is, you just got to probe about where they're moving to. So there's no like, here's the script, because the question, question number 2 is going to be determined by the answer of question number 1. Do you follow me?
So basically, as you have said it in training, in one of your CD trainings, is that this is something that you cannot teach. This is something that we have to feel.
Olga, I'm so impressed that you're listening. I can tell you're listening to the CDs. Yes, you're right. There's certain things in sales, because sales is an art form, and so with like art, it's not science. There's an instinctive thing that happens the more you do something. And you know what? That's kind of true about any business or any artist or skilled laborer. For example, if you had somebody who was doing construction work, somebody who just started 30 days ago is not going to have the same kind of nuances and instinct that somebody who's been doing it for 30 years. Hang on one second. My office Olga just handed me something here.
Okay.
And to maybe talk about if it's a slow or no. Okay, that's so funny. My office handed me a note of something I was going to talk about on this call anyway. So they're just trying to help me, Olga. Thank you.
Yes.
So for example, going back to what we were saying, Olga, is let's role play so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's put it into action. I want to make believe you're a seller, okay? And I want you to be a committed seller, like know something in your head about you're selling and why you have to sell, but you're committed. But in the beginning of my questions, I want you to make it sound like you're not committed. So you got a tough part right now, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's do it on the phone. So you'll be an expired, so we'll do it again. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Yes, hi. May I speak with Olga, please? This is Darryl Davis from Power Realty.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, this is me.
Okay, hi, Olga.
This is Olga.
Okay, hi. Olga, the reason I was calling is I noticed your house had expired off the multiple listing, and I was wondering, is it still for sale?
Well, as I was telling another 22 realtors that I have spoken with this week, we just done for now. We're not going to sell the house, and that's it. We're just not going to sell it now.
All right, you're just not going to sell it. Well, okay. Well, I appreciate that. I was looking at a copy of the multiple, and I was a little surprised it didn't sell. Do you know why that is?
Quite frankly, I do not know, because we have spoken to our realtor, and when he listed, he said that's a good price. We should be selling very quickly, and here we are. It's not sold, and we're all frustrated. Blah blah blah.
Okay, all right. Well, I got to tell you, I feel your pain. It's always, this happens from time to time where a house just doesn't sell during the time that it's on multiple listing, and it can be frustrating for somebody, especially when they're really committed to selling and moving. And let me ask you, Olga, where were you folks thinking of moving to? Were you planning on staying in the area or moving out of the area?
Well, we were actually, we were not pressed, but we liked the new construction house, and now it's not available because it's already sold. And we really, we really want a smaller house, but at the same time, we have a certain number we need to get. We need to have our magic number.
I see. Well, now the new construction, so that you had your eye on something, but that the builder sold it, but does he have other properties?
Yes, but because when we had the house on the market, we didn't get the offer that we were looking for. We just do not know if we really can afford it. We would like to downsize, but at the same time, it's just not, if we're not getting the money we need, I do not want to sit on the market and let people in my house again for nothing.
Okay. So, but forgetting about about your current home. The home that you were moving to, or that you wanted to, was a new construction, and did I hear you right? It was you were downsizing, so smaller than what you have now.
Yes.
Okay, so you probably would you save money in making this move because it would be less mortgage or a smaller house? Is that?
Not really. It's gonna be, it's going to be new construction. My house is old, and the area we move into is quite expensive. That's why we needed to sell for a certain amount of money.
All right, so let's stop the call here, Olga, because I want to, because we can really drag this out. There's two things I want to point out. Is that, the questions I'm asking are based on the answers you're giving to me, and I'm trying to find out really how committed you are. So that's number one. Number two is that there may be some agents on this call that may be thinking or feeling something that I want to say, and that is, Darryl, I don't think people would stay on the phone this long, with these questions. And honestly, the truth is they will. The one thing that whenever I do the live training in an area where I'll call FSBOs from the stage and then people start calling, so, some of you may or may not know this, that once in a while we have a training class that companies hire me to come in and do, and where it could be a full day, it could be 3 days, and during the 3 days the agents will be calling FSBOs during breaks and at night. And every class, every agent always says the same exact thing. They say, Darryl, I'm shocked as to how long people stayed on the phone with me.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, I actually do not get surprised about that, because one of the trainings that, again, the CD training for FSBOs, you have mentioned a great technique. When I actually start asking about the house instead of listing, it does work as you promised. It's just a matter, difficult to find the people who really motivated, but they do stay as long as you said in your training. It's the type of questions we're asking.
Well, I appreciate that, Olga. Thank you. And everybody you'll hear, as Olga, she's talking about the FSBO Mastery CD, so I hope those of you that have that FSBO Mastery CD, which is an awesome program, that you are listening to it, because as you can tell, it's helping Olga a lot. And so thanks for that, Olga. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No, thank you.
All you've got to keep doing is keep doing what you're doing, Olga. It sounds like you're doing all the right things. Be patient with it, and you'll start listing like a machine. Become a listing machine. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to be more patient instead of being Russian.
Well, you see, it's genetic. That's what it is. You're Russian.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Olga. All right. So. Next person, *6. Take yourself off hold by hitting *6 one time, and then I'll be able to hear you. So who else has a question? *6 one time. No. Somebody? Nobody's got a question? We're going to be voyeurs now? Come on. Okay, well then, I hear somebody. Who is it?
Hi there, this is Shirley Terry in the Maryland area, Washington, D.C., Maryland area. I just want to just go forward with the expires. I'm just so afraid to pick the phone to even dial.
You're afraid to even just dial them. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I need help with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you already. And I'm sorry, hon. What's your name again?
Shirley.
Say it again.
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, Shirley. You must have me on a speakerphone or something, because it's a little hard to hear you.
Well, I do. I have you right now. You're off speakerphone.
Now I can hear you beautifully, baby. All right.
Thank you. Okay. I just need help with expires and just going to the listing appointment period. I mean, of course I go to the listing appointments when I get referrals, but I want to just go out and just do a lot of stuff on my own as far as doing the list of getting referrals, which is good. That's why I get a lot of these referrals. But I want to just pick the phone like it's so heavy to pick the phone up to call expires or to do the listing appointment. You know what I'm saying? I need more.
first of all, Shirley, so the fact that, so I want to make sure everybody heard what you said, and you correct me if I say this wrong. So your question is, Darryl, how do I just overcome the fear of making the call in the first place? Is that right?
Yeah,
All right. Well, first of all, Shirley, I want to acknowledge you because at the very beginning of you asking this question, I could tell you. Well, it's not embarrassing, but I know you felt embarrassed. And so I want to acknowledge you for that because the fact that you pushed past that, now I want you to capture this. This is very important, and I want everybody else to notice something. I said to the call, I said to everybody on this call, we got a ton of people on this call. A ton.
How many?
We have almost 100 people on the call.
Now,
of almost 100 people on this call, I said, hit *6, ask me your question. And out of almost 100 people, I only got our first 2, but then after that, silence. So here's Shirley, who's saying, boy, I really can use some help from Darryl, but I'm afraid, I'm embarrassed, I don't know. And you push past it, and you hit that *6 to ask me. Are you hearing what I'm saying, Shirley?
Yes.
What I'm saying to you, darling, is you already had a breakthrough and not having fear stop you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get what I'm saying here. You had fear just then to not even ask me this question, and you overcame it. Now, if you can do that with me, with almost 100 people listening in, you can do this with an expired. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you about overcoming fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear does not go away the first time permanently. So let's say you get all revved up, you get off this call, and you make a call today to an expired, and you're all afraid to do it. Well, after you make that call, the second call you make, you're going to feel the same way. It doesn't go away right away is my point.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a matter of fact, it's never going to go away until you start making a ton of calls. So the first thing you want to do is you want to embrace and accept that you're going to have the fear. Just don't let the fear have you.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is you have to embrace and accept the fact that you are going to screw up. You're going to screw up these calls. Not all of them, but the beginning ones you will. The reason why you're going to screw up the beginning ones is because, number 1, you're not used to the dialogue. Number 2, you're not used to making the calls. And number 3 is because you're going to be bat crazy scared. So therefore, your tongue is going to get in the way of your teeth, and you're going to trip over your own tongue. You follow what I'm saying?
Right, yes.
So you just have to accept the fact that you are going to have fear.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to screw up, and I want you to make the call anyway. Now, what's going to happen is after you're making several calls, that fear will start to diminish greatly. I love something I heard Tony Robbins say in one of his books that I read. I think it was Unlimited Power. I read 2 of his books. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he said motion impacts emotion. I love that. Motion impacts emotion. If you want to change how you feel, the best way to do that is to get him in action, to get on the playing field. Is this making sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
Listen, darling, it's not going to go away, Shirley. So you have a choice. You can either be afraid and not make the calls, or be afraid and make the calls anyway. Now here, I can guarantee 2 things to you. If you don't make the calls, I guarantee nothing will change for you.
Oh, I understand.
I also guarantee that if you do make the calls, that things may change and the fear will go away.
Mm-hmm.
But you got. Have you heard me talk about my son in the batting cage? I'm not going to go through the story. It's a long story. But real briefly, my son was 14 years old, and he had to go into a batting cage because he was being tested by this little league team or whatever. So they got to see how good of a batter he is. and he was scared, my son, and he was seeing another kid in the batting cage before he went in, and this kid was hitting every ball, and he was awesome. My son he had a lot of pressure now because he saw this kid how good he was, and my son wasn't athletic at the time, so my son was afraid. Are you feeling this, Shirley?
Yes, I'm listening. Yes.
Yeah, so he's there, and and now he's going to be asked to go into a cage without the comfort of his father holding his hand, while a bunch of other people judge him on his ability as a human being. A lot of pressure for a 14-year-old kid. I told my son, I sat him down, I said, Michael Raymond, I said, I don't care if you hit the ball, I just want you to go into the cage. It's okay to be afraid, but just don't let fear have you. It's okay to have fear, don't have fear have you. Go in the cage and just swing, baby, swing. So my son went into the cage, and he swung, and he hit some balls, missed a lot, then he did a whole bunch of other tests. At the end of the hour and a half of us hanging out at this place, my son looked at me and said, Daddy, thank you, I had fun today. And it brought tears to my eyes because my son learned a very important distinction that day, which is bring your fear with you into the cage, but walk into the cage anyway and swing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, Shirley, just swing, baby, swing, okay?
Yeah, okay, I will.
All right,
if I
please
mess up,
do
just
it.
Do it.
Do it. You owe it to your family. You owe it for yourself because you're always going to regret it, okay?
Yes, thank you so much, yeah.
All right, you send me an email and let me know that you started making these calls. Darryl at DarrylSpeaks.com. Promise me you're going to email me, Shirley.
Okay, Darryl Speak, okay.
DARRYL. Yes, I'm going to be looking for it, Shirley. Shirley, what company are you?
Exit Elite.
Exit. Okay, and where are you located? In what market?
We're in the Washington D.C. area.
Okay, because I'm going to look you up in our database. Because if you don't email me, I'm going to chase you down, Shirley. Okay. And you don't want me to chase you down, darling. All right.
Yeah. No, you can chase me down.
Oh, look at that! All of a sudden, you got ballsy there, Shirley.
Yeah, but thank you, Darryl, so much. God bless you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Star 6 to put yourself back on mute. All right, gang. So listen, I want to talk to you guys about something. I made a list here, and this is real important. And then I'm going to tell you about the magazine in a bit. Actually, let's go to the magazine. Let me go to the magazine, and give me 1 second here, gang. Some of you can see the magazine on your screen because you're using that option. Some of you can't. So those of you that can't see the magazine, just make some notes about this real quick, and then I'm going to cover something at the end of this call. So the Power Agent magazine this month is on the Power Program website. You log in. After you log in, you go to let me see if I can show you here. You go to monthly sessions. When you go to monthly sessions, you'll see the magazine, and you'll see September Power Agent magazine with Julie Keith. Now, let's see. Let me go to the magazine and point out a couple of really awesome things. So the beginning part of the magazine actually has the interview that we transcribe, along with the audio you can download. But after the transcription, I want to show you some of the pages in the magazine here. There's a great letter that we put in there for you, but on page 25, you're going to notice, like page 25, in the past several magazines, gang, I've been giving you these kind of newsletters. So here's a newsletter to send out at the beginning of the year, grow a winter garden. So these are things you can do if you're going to do farming and doing some mailings. Here's one. Can you guys see the magazine? April, are you online? You can see the magazine? Okay. Because Sarah just sent me a text. Over here, there's a newsletter page for 10 New Year's resolutions for homeowners. Some of these are really beautiful. It's a great time to buy income property. So I've given you all of these super visuals that you can mail out, and some of these are going to be also on the website, the Power Program website. Home viewing tips. This is to give to a buyer. You can do this flyer as a mailing to a buyer. You can give it as a handout piece when you meet a buyer for the first time. Is your home priced right? This is a mailing you'd send to a seller. And this also could be something to drop off on a listing appointment. How to time your home sale. So there's another one for sellers. Then there's some other black and white things that we got here. This is an agent. They did a broker's open house. You know, not too fabulous, but what the flyer itself. But what I thought was awesome is that if you do a promotional flyer for a broker's open house, this is something that I would show on a listing appointment. Here's another example. This is a picture of inside the office of this agent. I think that's a great thing to share on a listing appointment. If you have a decent looking decent looking office where you want to explain the internal part of your office and how it works. This is an opinion sheet that brokers would fill out talking about, or at a broker's open house, what they think about the property. Is it going to sell? Scoring it from 1 to 5. So there's some really great stuff that I've given you this month. I love this one. This is a list of past clients of an agent with the phone numbers of these buyers and sellers. I think that makes it more powerful, more credible when you put the phone number. This is what other realtors have to say about me. So what this agent did is they got these cards from other agents, you know, thanking them, or anytime they got a thank you card, and they created this little collage. I think this is so powerful. So they would show a homeowner, this is what other agents from other companies are saying about me, and sharing that. Here's a whole list of marketing tools. This is show a homeowner why we work so hard and why we earn the commission that we do. So it's 3 pages of just a ton of, this is everything that we do. Closing idea that I have for you. Some contest stuff. So right now we're coming to the holidays. If you want to do any kind of contest, so I gave you flyers on that. So anyway, there's a ton of stuff in this month's magazine. I just want to remind everybody, you are not going to be able to implement everything that we give you every month. I mean, this magazine is, let me see, this month's magazine is 49 pages of content. It's just, pull 1 or 2 pages and implement it. All right, now, let me go to my notes because I want to talk about, give me 1 second, where am I? I want to talk about something that happened to me. I took some notes. So this month, gang, I had seen a house in my neighborhood. And the reason why I'd seen it is because it caught my eye. There was a bunch of acreage to it. It had almost 6 acres. And when I looked at the 6 acres in my town and the price, I said, oh my gosh, I got to check this out because it looked like a shiny penny. I'm not in the market to buy something, but I seriously would have bought this property based on the price and the property. All right, now, here's a message I want to tell you all. As agents, you need to know your stuff. When you think about the commissions that we get, whether it's whatever you charge, right? I'm assuming it's a good amount of change for a homeowner. Well, gang, we have to earn our fee. Now, I'm not going to mention the property or the agent's name. I want to talk about the agent's a nice agent. The agent is actually past student of ours, great lady. But here, let me point out some of the mistakes. First of all, the property, 6 acres, only 2 of the 6 acres were actually owned by the homeowner. The other 4 was town property that could not be touched or improved upon. Now, the owner still pays taxes on it. The owner still is responsible for it, but they can't cut, so it's a preserve. They can't cut down any of the trees or make any improvements on it. So just think about, first of all, how screwed that up that is, that they have the gift of paying taxes for property they can't use. I mean, they can use it, but they just can't change it. Now, when I found this out when I went to preview the property, and I said something to the agent about, was this on the MLS? Did I miss this? And she said, yeah, it is. And then while I was there, she looked at the MLS and no, it wasn't. I said, well, that certainly is a horse of a different color. You need to put that kind of stuff on the MLS. Not to mention, now, by the way, I know what I'm sharing with y'all. Some of you are probably like, amen, brother, like you've experienced this yourself. Like you, as an agent, you see something on MLS and the other agent didn't verify the data, didn't verify the taxes, the lot size was wrong, etc., etc. You know, this should tell you, you know what, you've got to be a cut above the rest. As a power agent, you need to be a cut above the rest, which means do your job. You know, when we don't do our homework and manage the property, I'll give you for instance another, same property, same agent, God bless her. We went into the basement. There was an odor. What is this odor? She says to me, I don't know. There's two, not one, two dehumidifiers running down in the basement. There was a big rain thing just several days before. I'm thinking there's water damage. I'm looking, I can't find it. The walls look fine, but the carpet felt weird. Long story short, it made me as a buyer uncomfortable, but what made it worse is when I asked the agent said, I don't know. And the agent let us into the property. The agent was at the property waiting for us. So the agent had turned all the lights on. So the agent was already there. They should have known that this was going on. And I can go on with some of the challenges that were experienced. So let me just give you a couple of tips. I think I made my point. When you got to know your stuff, you got to know the property. This house, this agent, I had said to him, I gave him a tip. I said, listen, if you've got 6 acres and only 2 can be used, the house itself is not worth the price. So they're competing against other properties at the same price range, but the house itself is better. So buyers are not going to buy this house based on the price in the house because the house doesn't match up. They'll buy it because of the other acreage they can improve upon, but they can still maybe have horses or have something. So really what you got to do is sell the property. You've got to sell the concept of this 6 acres, not the home, because the home is below standard. When you know your stuff, you can market your properties better. That's number one. Number 2 is you should know a little bit about, you know, construction. You should know, like, is there stains or boilers or roofs or smells, and you can't be just somebody that shows property. You can't be somebody that just takes a listing and puts it on MLS and hope for the best. You've got to verify your taxes. You've got to do the work, gang. You've got to earn your fee. Otherwise, we're just salespeople showing property, and then you don't deserve the commission that a homeowner's paying. You've got to ask yourself this question. If you were a homeowner selling your house, would you pay a 7 or 8% commission to an agent to sell your house to you? And if the answer is no, it's because you're not improving your skill or knowing your stuff as well as you should. You've got to be not just a salesperson. You need to be a licensed professional that help people move from point A to point B in their life. You've got to know some construction stuff. You've got to know your market. You've got to know your schools. You've got to know your area, gang. It's so important. All right. So with that, I'm going to open up the call to one last question. Who has a question that you need help with? Hit *6 to take yourself off mute, and I'll coach you. So who's got a question?
Hi, Darryl. This is Melissa Ulrich in Reno, Nevada. How are you?
Good, darling. It's Martha, is it?
Melissa.
I'm sorry, Melissa. And you're
That's
in
okay.
Reno. You're in Reno?
Yep.
You guys, when I was there this year, you were one of my favorite audiences. I really enjoyed being with you guys. You guys were great.
We really enjoyed you too, Darryl. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks.
So I don't know how much down the rabbit hole you want to go with this, but I am a newer agent, and I'm just curious how you go about doing rent backs for more than a month.
Okay, so I'll always be honest. I'm not familiar, and I've never done rent backs because I don't think we do that here in Long Island.
Gotcha.
So why don't you explain to me what it is, and let me see how I can best help you.
Okay. So our market is a seller's market right now, and I sold my house, not my house, but my seller's house in a day. We had a very strong offer. The buyers are willing to do a free 10-day rent back because they do know that she's selling her home, looking to buy a new one. And we've now figured out what the new one is, and she's going to need about 2 months, ideally. So they have indicated that they are willing to work with us on that. However, I just wasn't super familiar with negotiating a rent back, especially when you're kind of in the stronger position.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay. Great. Okay, I can help you with this, Melissa. So,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, so I understand what it is, and we just never called it a rent back in New York.
Oh.
And I never did it. So, but the concept is, anything is doable as long as people are willing to agree to it.
Right.
So there's no, like, it's too long, like it's 2 months too long. No, it's not, as long as the buyer now is willing and the seller is willing to pay whatever it is that the buyer wants them to pay. Now, is the house already in contract?
Yes.
Okay, because that's a little odd, because this is something that should be negotiated before you actually go into contract, because now you don't want it to become an issue while it's in contract.
Right.
Is it your buyer or it's your seller? I know. Is it your buyer?
No.
Okay. So you have another agent you have to deal with, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And so the seller is asking for 2 months buyback. The buyer, do they know this yet?
No.
Okay. Where's the buyer moving from? Are they where are they coming from? What's their?
So what I understand of their situation is they're moving from Maryland back to Reno. They have family in Reno, and the agent did tell me, no, they have a house, but they didn't need to sell it in order to move to Reno. My understanding is the husband has to report for work late October, early November.
Okay.
So my thought is that, I just kind of wanted to come up with something that was just very pointed and, kind of work out all the details for them to kind of say yes or no to.
Yes, and Melissa, you are brilliant.
Okay.
You are. The reason why you're brilliant, a couple of things. First of all, I hope what people are noticing is the questions I'm asking you, because that's important here. When you're trying to negotiate or serve people and help people, the biggest problem, Melissa, most agents have is they don't ask enough questions. They don't know enough answers. So the fact that I'm asking all these questions and you know all these answers, I'm impressed with you, number one. Number two is you said something that made you brilliant. You said you'd rather put all the pieces together and then present it to the buyer, instead of trying to go back and forth. Brilliant, because every time you go back and forth, you're making it more dramatic, drama, and people will say, screw it, the answer is no to everything. You follow me?
Right.
So you're doing a great job. So if anybody can put this together, I believe you can, Melissa.
Thank you.
Now let me give you some information to help you do what you want to do, which is to put together this package. I would find out, first of all, the buyers are in control now because there was no considerations in contract when you went to contract about a rent buyback. Am I correct?
The consideration is because when the buyer's agent came to me and said that she was putting in an offer, what would motivate my seller, et cetera, I gave her a few things, and then I said, and, as you know, we've already said she's selling this house so that she can get into a new house. So any kind of option for rent back would be appreciated. Maybe even a free rent back would really stand out. So they did give us a free 10-day rent back. And throughout the course of interacting in email, et cetera, I've put out there, we might need a longer rent back. Do you think your buyers would be open to that?
Yeah.
And I've received, yeah, they really want to work with your sellers.
Okay, good.
But nothing specific.
All right, so here's what I would do, is I would find out how much would it be to rent something for 60 days. So first of all, I'd want a number to find out what would it cost for your seller to move to a temporary housing for 60 days. Now, that number is not just to pay 2 months of rent. That would also be to move all of the clothes, storage, all that stuff. You follow me? So come up with a huge number. Okay. So I would then go to the seller and say, this is what, because we only got 10 days and now this is coming up, for us to really move out of this, this is what the number would be for us to move out. And, of course, the homeowner would be like, well, geez, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to either. I don't want you to either. Let me see what I can do with the buyers. So now you have a price in your mind. Now you can negotiate. Are you following me so far?
Yes.
Let's say the number comes out to $5,000. I would then call the agent and say, all right, we have a bit of a challenge with the sellers, and it would really help us if the buyers would be willing to let them stay till, October 31st or whatever date you have, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, and in consideration for this, they're willing to give the buyers $750 for their pain and suffering. Or I wouldn't call it pain and suffering, but I would say so. So I'd offer them a really low number because they were already willing to do free, and it sounded like in the emails they're willing to even do, all right, we'll talk, if you need more than 10 days. But they're probably thinking maybe a week or two. So when you hit them with 2 months, they go, oh, wait a second. But now I'm going to offer you $750. So you'll try and get the seller to spend the least amount of money, but you want to scare the homeowner saying this is the big number, what it could cost you. So anything that is about 50% or less of what you tell them, they're going to think you're a superstar. Does that make sense?
That does.
Great. Let me know what happens, okay, Melissa? Did that help you?
Yes, thank you so much. It's always nice to, get some affirmation of you're on at least the right track with what you're trying to do. I do have one other possible quick question.
Yeah.
Again, newer person, so not really familiar. I know I kind of tend to think no news is good news, but in specific about appraisals, being on the seller side, obviously we're not going to get that information.
Right. Melissa, just make this quick because we're at 12 o'clock. I got to end the call.
Okay. I guess I'm just asking, what do you typically ask if you're curious to know about the appraisal?
Oh, I see. Every area is different. Every bank's different. I would shake down the mortgage broker. Whoever wrote the loan, that's the person that I would bully into. Hey, I need to find out where are we at with this. Could you please make a call to underwriting? So that's who you would call. You would call the mortgage loan officer who took the app, and they'll be your go-to person. Okay?
Okay. Thanks so much.
Melissa, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, gang, listen, that's it for this month's call. I hope this was helpful. A couple of things. Don't forget, there's a ton of stuff on the Power Program website. We keep adding things under Classroom, so look for new stuff. Don't forget the Facebook page because we're uploading things periodically there. Don't forget the magazine. All right. Last thing I'm going to say to you guys is that, we're moving into that time of year where it's going to be fewer buyers, but the quality is going to be better. The holidays are coming up, more committed sellers that will put their house on the market. So this last quarter, these last 2-3 months can be really strong for you on so many levels. So stay focused. And last but not least, again, our prayers go out to everybody in Texas and in Florida and all the outlining states of Florida that are actually taking all of these people in from Florida. If there's anything my office or company can do for anybody, just give us a call. All right, gang, God bless you. Thanks for calling in. And don't forget, we don't just help people buy and sell real estate. We actually help them get to their next level. So the more people you help get to their next level, the more money you make. All right, talk to you next month. And don't forget to keep smiling. All right, bye, gang.